Rylan Clark has reflected on the emotional turmoil he faced following his split from former husband Dan Neal. The TV presenter 36 split with Dan in 2021 after 6 years of marriage, when Rylan admitted he cheated on him. Now, 4 years on, he has spoken candidly about the devastating period that followed. Speaking on the latest episode of his podcast, How to Be, with Strictly's Tasha Ghouri, Rylan admitted he felt like a failure when his relationship came to an end. He said, "When I went through my divorce, I had a full-on breakdown because it wasn't just us. It felt like it wasn't just us, even though it was just me and my ex. I felt that everyone's going to think this of me." He admitted everyone's going to think, "Oh, look, his life isn't perfect. Oh, look, he's failed like that. I just felt like a failure." While reflecting on the painful breakup, he acknowledged that parting ways was ultimately the right thing to happen. It comes after Rylan opened up further about his relationship with Dan on his podcast with guest Stephen Fry. He said, "We got married in 2015. That same year, yeah. So it would have been my 10-year anniversary this year." Stephen then asked if Rylan felt any kind of responsibility to represent gay marriage as one of the few LGBTQ+ celebrities. He asked, "But did you feel also that, when it broke up and you were divorced, did you feel that there was, in some sense, you were letting down the idea of gay marriage? Because we have a duty to show that our marriages are as robust and strong as any heterosexual." Rylan said, "There was part of me that just felt like a complete and utter failure. I felt like I'd failed personally, but I felt like I'd found publicly on behalf of the gays. You know, I'm not head gay, it's not that." Stephen reassured, "No, you're not, exactly. You're not a poster child for gayness." Rylan continued, "But you do feel like, yeah, I'm going to get married. I want to get married. I can get married. But when it doesn't work out, you don't want people to go. You see, that's why they shouldn't get married." Stephen was quick to insist, "You can get married again if you want," causing Rylan to hint at his divorce struggles as he quipped, "Yeah, with a prenup this time, I'm not going through that again." Rylan previously revealed his own infidelity during his marriage with Dan caused the downfall of their relationship. After he revealed that he had been unfaithful, Dan eventually ended the relationship after the heart-wrenching confession. Following the heartbreak and the deterioration of his marriage, Rylan had suicidal thoughts and his weight dropped to just 9 stone. He opened up about these challenging times in his second autobiography, 10, The Decade That Changed My Future. In the book, he penned a candid reflection and said, "I got in a relationship quite young and just went with it. Now I know I'm my own person. I'm not going to settle for something that's not right. In a way, it's been a bit of a gift. I'm happy to have sex with someone, and that's that. That's not a problem. But do I want more? Of course I want more. Am I going to enjoy myself on the way? Abso-fucking-lutely." Rylan Clark has long been a familiar face on British television, known for his sharp wit, infectious personality, and distinct charisma. Whether it's presenting on This Morning, hosting Strictly It Takes Two, or making the nation laugh on panel shows, he's always come across as confident and joyful. However, behind that radiant smile was a man quietly enduring deep emotional pain. His separation from ex-husband Dan Neal shook him to the core, leaving him feeling like a failure. In this article, we'll explore the full journey of Rylan and Dan's relationship, from the moment they met to the painful breakup, and how Rylan has slowly come to terms with it, speaking out about mental health, heartbreak, and healing. Rylan Clark first crossed paths with Dan Neal in 2013. Dan, a former Big Brother contestant, appeared on the reality show that Rylan happened to be hosting on Big Brother's Bit on the Side. What started as a professional interaction soon blossomed into a connection that neither of them expected. The spark was instantaneous, and it wasn't long before they began dating publicly. Fans were thrilled to see Rylan happy and in love. The pair complemented each other well, Rylan being bubbly and loud, while Dan carried a more reserved demeanor. Despite being in the spotlight, the couple tried to maintain a degree of privacy about their personal life, although public appearances and interviews often brought their relationship into the public eye. In 2014, just a year after they started dating, Rylan and Dan got engaged. The news was met with excitement from fans and media alike. Rylan seemed to be living a fairy tale, finding love, building a solid career and growing in popularity. They married in November 2015 in a small, intimate ceremony surrounded by close friends and family. The marriage appeared stable from the outside. Rylan would often speak lovingly about Dan in interviews, crediting him with grounding his often chaotic lifestyle. He praised Dan for being his rock, someone he could turn to when the pressures of fame became overwhelming. Throughout their marriage, Rylan's career flourished. From his early beginnings on The X Factor to becoming one of the most beloved television presenters in the UK, he was on a meteoric rise. Yet, with increased fame also came increasing pressures. Rylan has been open about struggling with the constant scrutiny, the fast-paced life of showbiz, and the toll it can take on a relationship.